Hi friends, this is Mrs. Dennis, and today we are starting a new unit. So we are starting Unit 2, and Unit 2 is all about animals. And I know, look at the cover of this reader here, and you see all the animals on there? We're going to learn all about animals and different types of animals. We're going to learn how to classify them. We're going to learn about them. So pull up your socks really tight, and let's get ready to learn about these animals. Here we go. Now, before we learn about animals, we are going to talk about text features. Now, text features are ways to highlight or call attention to important information. So the first text feature that we're going to talk about is a title. The title of this book this is our reader. So the title of this is called Rattenborough's Guide to Animals. That's the title. Now, here's your title again, Rattenborough's Guide to Animals. That is the title. Now, we are at a super important text feature. This text feature is the table of contents. Now, I know you're thinking, what is a table of contents? Because you see some numbers here, you see some words here, you see some more numbers on the side. So what does all of this mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, here's your definition of table of contents. The table of contents gives the reader an overview of what texts are in this reader and where to find each text. So what does that mean? Follow my cursor. So here is chapter 1 because these are all chapters. So here's chapter 1. Chapter 1 can be found on page 2. Now, this is a heading for the chapter, and a heading gives the reader information about the key topics in a text. So chapter 1 is the introduction, and you're going to meet Rattenborough, right? And that's the person who's guiding us through all of these animals. So here is chapter 1, and you can find it on page 2. Chapter 2, classifying living things, can be found on page 10. All of the chapters have your heading, the chapter heading, and the page number. Let's go to the next page. Same thing for all of these, right? Chapter 18, the Komodo dragon, is on page 148. Friends, this is Rattenborough. So he's going to guide us through this whole thing. Now, I'm not going to start reading yet. There are a few things I want you to look at on these 2 pages, pages 2 and 3, before I start reading. Now, the first thing I want you to look at are the bold print words. Those are the words that are super, super dark black, right? They stand out in the story. The bold print words show important words or concepts in the reading. So we see the word habitats, right? It's 1, 2, habitats with the S is on here twice. We have it once here and once here, and then habitat with no S is here, here, and here 3 times, right? So we also have on page 3 a photo, right? This is a regular old photo, a picture, and a caption. Photos visually show you what the text is about, and the caption describes the photo. So here we have a picture of Rattenborough, and it says Rattenborough in one habitat, right? Now, we don't exactly know what a habitat is yet, but we're going to learn what a habitat is. So I'm going to start reading. Here we go. Chapter 1, Introduction, Meet Rattenborough. Greetings, Rattenborough, the famous explorer and animal expert here. Remember me? I taught you all about animals and habitats when you were just little kids in 1st grade. I've been busy since then traveling around the world, but I'm back now to teach you everything I've learned about animals during my travels. First, take a quick look at what you learned in 1st grade. Do you remember what a habitat is? A habitat is the place where animals and plants live. We learned that there are different habitats all over the world with different kinds of animals and plants living there. We visited a desert habitat where it was very hot and dry. It hardly ever rains in a desert, so the plants and animals that live there have to be able to get by with very little water. I bet you remember that cactus plants live in the desert along with snakes and lizards. We also visited an African savanna. A savanna is also called a grassland. There were lots of interesting animals living there: zebras, elephants, and even lions. To be perfectly honest, I was always a little nervous while we were in the savanna. Next, we checked out some different kinds of forests. We went to a hardwood forest full of trees with leaves that change color and drop off in the fall. We saw squirrels, deer, and even bears. We saw lots of different kinds of birds in those tall trees. Then we visited a tropical rainforest that was very hot, humid, and wet. There were lots of birds in this forest too. These birds were colorful, tropical birds like toucans and parrots. Last but not least, we visited freshwater and saltwater habitats. In the freshwater habitat, we saw fish, turtles, ducks, and beavers. In the saltwater habitat of the sea, we saw starfish, crabs, lobsters, and sharks. Besides learning about habitats in first grade, we also studied the different kinds of things that animals eat. Do you remember talking about herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores? We learned that you can sort animals by what they eat. So get ready, because we are going to learn a lot more about how to sort animals. Rattenborough, your personal animal expert at your service. See you next time. Okay, friends, Rattenborough is going to be a great animal expert for us, and he's going to guide us through all of these animal classifications, and he's going to tell us all about herbivores, omnivores, carnivores. He's going to tell us all about habitats. He's going to tell us everything we need to know about animals. Now, that's just our small introduction. And that's our first read aloud. But remember, there's so much more that we're going to learn about animals in this unit. So, that's all for now.